Jinx games, it was a different player as the delivery man. But now we have Star Poner as we are entering Champ Select. I want to see them go for scaling in the ADC lane. Something like a Jinx, something like a Senna, maybe an Ashe. I think the Draven fell a little flat last game. And other than that, just maybe more creative picks and more of a fluid game plan that Bar can't really capitalize too much on.
Right. Because like I said before we went to the break here, it looked like Bar Esports had the entire game plan playbook of Kent State.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, they want this, this, and this. We'll counter with that, that, and that.
Right.
They were just ready for it. So hopefully, I think I want to see some changes just in how Kent State does their draft. Because they kind of just gave away everything. Everything they wanted to play, they picked it a little bit too early, or they showed their cards too soon, and Bar Esports just countered every single thing.
So showing your cards too soon in the draft, I like that, Keck, as an adjustment. We do see an adjustment coming in here. It's a Scion and a Rek'Sai ban from Kent State. So this will change up the draft and the comps that we see from these teams here. We'll have to see what Bar prioritizes. Is it Ashe? Is it Ornn for themselves? Let's see what they go for.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that Ornn first pick is really strong. Oh, and here comes the Lucian.
Lucian. So do you believe that is going to be a flex 3 ways?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
2 ways. 2 ways.
I
don't think it goes bot lane.
You don't think it ever goes bot lane?
I feel like
here?
if you ever put Lucian in the bot lane in this current meta, it's just so troll.
Okay.
It's so troll.
I'm kind of with that. And we may have seen Hamlet play it before, and I'm almost certain Jhin would be capable of playing at a pretty high level. So I'm excited to see this solo lane flex here, and we see the Ornn come in again, too reliable of a pick. And the Evelynn run back, do we see a Rek'Sai run back?
No, Rek'Sai's banned.
I'm sorry. So the answer is no. What
But
is their next
some of those champions
answer?
that they banned in the first phase, like I believe it was Graves banned, but Lilia was 100% banned. So I'm actually would be interested to see like a Lilia return.
Yeah, which would pair pretty nicely with the Lucian mid, by the way.
And they might actually just go with the Lucian bot lane. Lucian Braum is a very prominent bot lane pick. Bot lane duo, I should say.
The Braum, again, we should know, comes out mostly because of the Ornn pick. But can pair really well with the Lucian in the bot lane. So a lot to question here. We'll see what this third pick is.
So this is the part where Bar Esports has to blind pick something. Or they can continue with the flex. Okay, the set. And like I said again, remember, Kent State, they're just going for their game plan picks again. They're going for the Ornn. They went for the Evelynn. But because they're revealing these picks so early, Bar Esports is picking their counters. Ornn is picked, right? We'll counter with the Braum to mitigate the Ornn ultimate. And at the same time, we'll pick Set. Set is just a really great top laner into Ornn. You have an Ornn in the front line. You use the Set ultimate. You bring Ornn back to his team, and you just blow up everybody.
Right.
Because Set's ultimate scales with the target's HP that he is ulting.
Right.
So,
yeah, Set, a pick that takes Conqueror, rushes Bork into Cleaver many times. So not an ideal lane opponent for Ornn. And
one more thing I wanted to point out is that we still have a triple flex here. Lucian could go top, mid, or bot. Set could go top, jungle, or mid.
Definitely.
Right now, Bar Esports is really, really playing their cards really well. I think whoever's doing the draft for them is 300 IQ.
Yeah.
They're really they're doing insane things here. We have no idea right now where Lucian can go or Set. We know for a fact that Braum is going bot lane. There's nowhere else Braum can go. But Lucian and Set are really, really good flex picks because we have no idea where they can go. Set can go top lane, like you said, with the Conqueror build. He goes Blade of the Rune King into Cleaver. He has that Duelist more build. When he's in the mid lane, he goes Sunfire, Cape, Spear Visage into Death Stance. He has that more tanky / build that we saw that Troy played from Miami University last week. His diverse pool. And so we have all these possible flexes coming in from Bar Esports. For Kent State, this sucks. You have no idea what they're doing. You don't know what their game plan is.
And I'd like to add that on blue side, you have to have these flexes, right? Because when your last pick gets locked on blue side, they get to pick a champion knowing all 5 of yours. So if it is predictable which roles your champs are going to go to, they get 100% information. But if you leave flexes suspended on your 5 picks, then they're a little bit less informed when their picks come in.
And that is another flex pick right there.
You
have literally no clue where anyone is going.
Yeah.
You won't know where any champion is going into any lane until you trade and finish the trades.
I have a good idea because I know the players. But
all right, lay it on me.
Should I lay it on you?
Yeah,
Should
go
I
ahead.
expose it? I'm afraid because what if someone's listening and then they get information based on what I say and then they use it in the pick ban? I don't want to use personal information that I have. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
let's talk about it after the
Yeah,
draft.
let's talk about it after. And it's not much longer. But remember I said I wanted scaling in the bot lane for Kent State? Well, here's the Senna. It has a Tom Kench to keep the Senna really safe. And Senna scales as hard as, if not harder than almost any other AD in the game with her infinite soul stacking and this and that. So now you can kind of, wait a second.
I'm telling you. Here.
Wait a second. You called it, Keck.
Kenny popped off on this champion.
Lock it in. Lock it in. Yes, it's
There
a
it is.
Yone mid. I love this. Now you have an AP AD mid jungle that you can play around. But they both need 6, and they both need, like, Evelyn needs 1 item, Yone needs 2. So it's not the most aggressive level 3 mid jungle duo, but you can play around this mid jungle duo. And then, worst case, you have Senna and Ornn as your late game insurance policy if all fails. But you should. My focus here is 100% on the mid jungle duo, Yone and Evelyn. And we are live and loaded onto the Rift for our round 1, week 2, the League Saturday Series playoffs. This is a best of 5 with Bar being up 1-0 to Kent State. But if you know anything about best of 5s, Keck, if you've been watching Worlds, it's not over until the Nexus drops for the 3rd time.
Oh, I thought I was gonna see. I thought it wasn't over until the Fat Lady sings, but you know.
Well,
same thing.
in that saying, the Nexus has to fall 3 times, not 2. Sadly. Well,
And-
not sadly for us, but we do see an invade. Keck, what is going on here?
So this 5-man invade topside is just to help check. It's kind of like a stat check, but for macro, I guess, a macro check.
Sure.
Just to double check. Okay, let's see if Kent State knows their 5-point, if they played 5-point correctly.
Yeah.
And lucky for Ornn, he actually walked out of the tri-bush. If he stayed in that tri-bush, that was a free kill
Definitely.
for the 5-man squad here.
The Braum will tag you up. Next thing you know, you're stunned.
Yep. You see, because he walked out of that tri-bush, he was able to give himself more vision, and he was able to see those 5-man group walking in before it was too late. Because if you see that little bush in the tri-bush, I don't know if I can point that out to you real quick. If you look here, this little crevice right along the wall, you can't see it if you're inside that bush. Really good thing from Ornn to walk through that bush to be able to see more than he can actually do before. And look at this. Gin is going to walk into that trap bush, just going to do some cheesy plays here.
He didn't start E.
He did not start. He started Q.
I should note, both junglers, they're starting opposite sides, and they were both spotted on their initial buff. So both teams know where the enemy jungler has started. We see Evelyn has crossed onto the bot side of the map to do a 3-camp level 3 clear, whereas Nunu is going red straight to Krugs. He's going to do a level 3 clear probably into a full clear, a level 3 after he kills his Raptors, and he will be on the same side of the map as Evelyn. What we need to look out for is Nunu going to go straight topside for a full clear, or is he going to look mid or look bot after he gets his 3?
You see some aggression coming in from that mid lane here. Hamlet using the rage advantage, getting the Q poke, doing a lot of damage here over to Kenny here. Unfortunately for Kenny, he's just going to have to take that poke.
And then, Keck, tell me if I'm wrong here. My assessment of this Kent State draft, which I really like, it's an Evelyn Yone comp with 3 supporting pieces that you can basically fit any other mid-jungle duo with. I think the Senna and the Ornn bring an insane amount of value to any team comp. The pieces that we should keep an eye on are the Evelyn Yone. Is that about right?
Yes. Those would be the key shining components of this team because, you know, Senna, not exactly flashy, mechanical AD carry. She's more of a sit back, utility, heal your champions, shield them up, but still dish out a good amount of damage. But she's not your carry, in a sense. She's not like the super hyper carry that you'd expect from like compared to a champion like Yone.
Yeah, definitely. And Yone has a lot of playmaking potential too once he gets that 6. And definitely once he gets 2 items. And his Death Dance spike is pretty crazy too. But we see Lucian with, you know, control over the lane early as you might expect in Lucian into melee lanes.
Not to mention, this is Kenny on Yone. And we saw Kenny pop off hard with this champion.
Yeah.
It's really good to see that he's on this, I want to say comfort pick. I think he's really good at this champion. I think this is one of his go-tos.
Yeah, me too.
And as you see here, like I said, normally Senna, you want to use her range to bully out laners with her Q poke, with her auto poke, with the extra range, extra damage. But because it's Ziggs, Ziggs completely neutralizes that. You see how much bullying Deku is doing with his champion. He's just throwing Qs at Senna, Tahm Kench. Because Senna, Tahm Kench are such a safe lane, they can't really capitalize on Braum here roaming up for deep vision because they have no like reliable hard engage onto Ziggs. Not to mention Ziggs can just satchel charge himself away from them.
Yeah, I don't think either lane is very potent. I think they're both kind of scaling into their own pieces of their team comps here.
Right.
What is your point of attack for Bar?
For Bar Esports here, definitely top lane and mid. I think those are your focal points for the game. Because you have the Lucian, he will permanently give you prio into any lane. That'll enable the Nunu to go for cheeky events onto the Evelynn if he wanted to. And then if you look at the top lane matchup, Jin versus Condrix on that Ornn, he does a deceptive amount of damage with his build. Like, there's a reason why Set is a counter into tanks.
And he already is developing a CS lead, not to mention already punching the turret down with that demolish. Could possibly be looking for, you know, lots of play gold, maybe an early Herald drop, get that tower early, open up the map, and just play through the set. As we know, Jin is a very scary person on this champion, but Evelynn Nunu and Evelynn are kind of just clearing back.
And look at this, they're looking to take another cheeky trade up here. But remember, this is a bruiser versus a tank. Bruiser's always going to take matchups.
What about Jackson and Malphite? He's gonna be in a provocateur. But when you said that, I had flashbacks.
I don't consider Malphite a tank. I consider him a rock man.
You said all fighters win in a tank matchup. I was like, Malphite! I thought Malphite appeared behind me.
Okay, fine. Except Malphite. And except Tahm Kench if people play Tahm Kench top still. I hate that champion. Oh, and look at that. Yeah, Nunu's going to get the first dragon of the game. 6 minutes in.
And that's what Nunu does, especially when you have the comfort of knowing Evelynn is probably not going to be too active on the map. Evelynn just full clearing, recalling, full clearing, recalling. Only like a one camp lead for the Drake, so Nunu very happy with his start.
And here we have with Condrix, with the Summoner Spellbook, it's just going to Ghost to lane. He swapped to Summoner Spell Ghost and he just pressed Ghost to run back to lane.
Who did that?
Condrix. Ornn. Great use of the Summoner Spellbook.
I don't know if that's genius or not.
There's actually a high elo streamer. His name is Ghost to Lane. I don't know if you've ever watched his games or his videos on YouTube. He always does like the random like 3v5 challenges versus 5 bronzes. Where he always does those random videos, but it's really funny because his name is Ghost to Lane.
Does he Ghost to Lane?
I mean, with a name like that, I would assume that was probably one of his early levels when he was like first getting into the game, things he would do.
I should maybe point out, we haven't seen any ganks from Nunu. Do you think this is a lack of execution on the part of the Nunu not to be active and influencing your lanes early?
Not exactly, because if you were looking at the lane states for most of Bar Esports here, they are completely shoved in. So unless you're opting for a full-on dive, I don't think Bar Esports has the items nor the levels that are able to support that yet. So he's just playing with his advantages. He's got the dragon. That's already a lead. So yeah, it kind of feels bad at first because they're not really getting the kills. But if you look at the gold graph, that's 500 gold from just champion picks alone. So it's definitely having the pressure on the map. You got the dragon, so
yeah, the
things are looking good for now.
Key point being you got the Drake, right? And you can now look to have control of the Herald with the push that the Lucian does give you. And Keck, when you brought up Lucian gives you a free push, you can look for a cheeky invade. I think that is the name of the game in this meta that we have with kind of the power farming junglers or whatever you want to call it. You want to look for pushes in your lanes and then invades and jungle camp clears from the enemy camps, which is ideal. But Nunu very happy to take Drake with no resistance and now start Herald happily with the push he has here from Lucian.
Right.
And set. So yeah, great call. You could just play to this top side here.
Oh, and look at this. Kenny's looking for some aggression on here, using the spirits to get some extra damage, but he's just going to have to go back. Forcing Nunu to preemptively snowball to the lane. But look at this. Rekt found the Nunu, and he's just going to have to ult out. Absolute Zero coming through, getting some poke damage, and the Dawning Shadow from the setup from bot lane. But I don't think that ultimate was necessary. Oh, look at this. Satchel Charge is going to force Evelynn to come, force Senna, I'm sorry, to go back. But The other thing I have to point out with the Senna Tom Kench lane is any aggression onto them is just completely mitigated because Senna has all that self-sustained heal. Not to mention, if she's in a sticky situation, Tom Kench just eats her and gets out.
Definitely. One of the reasons that pairing is so
Oh,
reliable.
and look at that poke coming in from Deku here. Star Pwner is just taking so much damage.
I would argue that Tom Kench is great into hard engage, but what about poke? What about consistent chip damage?
Oh, and Condrix, this is so disrespectful, man. You can't force a freeze in front of a set like that. You're playing a losing matchup. You don't get to dictate the lane state.
Possible 2v2 brewing in the top side as Evelyn is eyeing up the set, but Nunu is in the area.
As well, yeah.
I don't think you want...
Oh, and the great vision plan from Nunu, but it actually doesn't see Rex. Rex is really fortunate he didn't get spotted.
I think Jin would turn this and tackle her into the turret, and we'll have to see here.
Oh, here comes the... Oh, and the Showstopper is going to find a massive damage. Warren Ultimate is going to completely miss here. Snowball coming in from Nunu. He might have to force the flash. But no, Condrix just takes it. First blood going over to Bar Esports here. 10 minutes in, quite a late first blood, but Mike Oxmall is going to put a number on the board for his team.
I just knew that gank was an awful idea. I think Jin had so many options there on the set. What he decided to go with was, as soon as he had the charm over his head, like you see here, he just tackles the Ornn onto Evelyn, flashes away, calls his Nunu. It ends up being a free turn.
The other thing I have to point out here is why did they opt for that gank when Rek doesn't even have ultimate? He just has ult now. The red spike coming in from Mike Oxmall, and the snowballs. That's a second kill go over to the Nunu. But unfortunately, he is quite deep for himself. Kenny is here on the answer. Gets himself a kill.
Could maybe call worth for Evelyn there. I don't think she played the situation the best, but getting a kill on Ione is very important, especially when he is down in farm and he's in that matchup where he is feeling a bit of pressure. But I think we can pull up again. So as soon as the charm goes on his head, he uses E. He can now tackle Ornn into Evelyn and flash off away from Rek's charm, so that flash got a ton of value there. And the Ornn ulti goes wide, and what do we know? Nunu, who just took Herald not too long ago and was topside, shows up counter gank. And I just don't think attacking the Conqueror's set is the best.
Oh, and here comes the ultimate from Kenny here onto from Yone onto the Lucian here, forcing his flash. Calling looking to do some extra damage onto Evelyn, but unfortunately, nothing here. Oh, and the snipe from Zig's ultimate just does minimum damage. Sagittal charge forces Boostinator back onto the team, but Nunu rooted, pops ult, absolute zero. Senna ultimate's coming down as well, but the three-man squad from Bar Esports, they're so deep. And now they're being sandwiched
They're
here between.
corralled.
But Hamlet here on the roam is going to mitigate some of that aggression here. He's here to help his team.
Yeah, he is quite the threat, so we'll be able to escort his team out. And they might even tag up Drake. We'll have to see. There's some recalls for Kent. They just had 2 members recall. If Bar knew this, they probably would start that Drake up, but we'll have to see where they go. Lucian getting ready to push mid, and Ziggs can maybe push onto Senna as well, set that Drake up.
And look at Jin here. He just does not care about Ornn. Proccing the Demolish procs. This might be what happened last game with the Scion pick. Remember, Jin, with 0 jungle assistance from his team, was able to take first tower for it himself. And this just comes down to his aggression and his laning. He just has complete control of the laning state. Oh, and with the Ziggs, the Satchel Charge is able to execute towers. First tower does go over to Bar Esports, but this time in the bottom lane.
Yeah, we see Bar actually getting a use out of that Herald, unlike what Kent State did when they got their Herald in Game 1. Nunu was able to get not only first Drake, but first Herald, use it to break bot turret and go for Drake 2. This is exactly what you want to see coming out of your jungler, my Cox Small Bros, on the Nunu. Keck, I have to agree with you now. You don't have to permagank on Nunu. If your team has control of the map, you just go with the advantages that you have and take neutrals.
Right.
Oh, they didn't take Drake 2?
They're looking at it right now, though. The thing is,
free.
like, in competitive play here, just because you have an early game jungler or you have this jungle pick like the Nunu.
Oh my god, did you see that?
The Bellows Breath was able to force the Ornn to be unstoppable. And it completely negates the set Showstopper.
Evelyn's on his way up though. Her way up. So let's see if Jin without ulti round 2.
Alright, because Jin has to realize his jungler is boss side. They took the dragon, so this is the only play that Kent State can do here. He has no ultimate. He really can't turn this around, so really a bit over-aggression coming in from Jin on set here. Middle too far up.
Yeah, without ulti, and without flash. It was too risky for him to walk up. Maybe he didn't expect Evelyn, or maybe he thought he would fare a little better. Wait a
Oh, and
second.
look at the aggression in the bottom here. Hamlet forces the Spirit to go back, and he's just going to get a free kill into Kenny. I think for the second there, Kenny thought that he could escape with his E-dash, but...
I've done that. His E was under turret, and the moment he did that, he was dead. He may have been dead just for hitting the turret the moment Lucian pulled up. Look at Lucian's build right now. Tabbies and an Essence Reaver already. This Yone not quite ready to step up to Lucian. Probably won't be until at least 2 items, depending on how the game goes, before Yone ever wants to square up with that champion. And Hamlet really putting on display the pressure you can get from this pick and the early to mid-game dominance and the spot-up plays you can make.
And you have to realize that they also picked Evelyn. Normally, if you see a Lucian pick, you can pick a more gank-heavy champion because you know Lucian's going to be permanently pushed up. You pick a champion like J4, like Nunu, I don't know, like any sort of janking jungler. They just go mid lane, punish that Lucian aggression. But they didn't. They opted for the Evelyn. They wanted to go for the farm 6 jungle champ. So for Bar Esports here, Lucian just got a free lane.
Yeah, and look at this lane swap. Now you have Deku back in the mid lane where he is comfortable, and they're putting the Lucian in the side lane with the Yone. So both teams rotating their bot lanes into mid, except for Ziggs. This means you have a mage with the wave clear potential to keep your mid tower for another 5 to 10 minutes unless you really pull the trigger on him. So I like the rotate of Ziggs into the mid lane for that reason. Wait, Evelyn is lining up with her Yone right now to make a play on Lucian. This is what Evelyn should have been doing when Yone was in the mid lane, but in bot lane it's a 2v1 isolated situation where Hamlet is quite lethal but will die one shot if Charm lands and the flash comes in.
Hamlet is going to pop the ultimate. Kenny going in with his ultimate as well. Gets the return kill. Pop Phantom Dancer Shield is going to be popped, so he won't be going down.
Yeah, PD Shield saving Kenny, not to mention like the tabbies on Hamlet almost made that play not doable. But with Evelyn flash, Evelyn ulti, Yone ulti, it's too much for Lucian. But it did look like for a second that he was going to be able to survive.
No, because they went for that play in the bottom lane. Now Mario Sports responds mid lane.
Yeah, great trade of objectives and using that Ziggs to pop another turret. Ziggs with blue buff, very happy right now in the mid lane. And
oh my gosh, those bombs do so much damage. Braum wanted to go for the Relic Shield proc, and he went for the Winter's Bite, and he completely misses. Nice. Unfortunate. And Jin just hitting the turret. He doesn't
not caring
care
about Ornn at all.
He has his jungler.
3v3 soon, 4v4 soon.
This might be a fight. Snowball finds the mark, knockup onto Condorix here. Condorix is going to be eaten up by Musliner, completely dodges the damage. Absolute Zero coming as well, but he's going to get exhausted. Flashes out. Braum ultimate coming as well to disengage. Yone in the flank here. He's going to get pulled. Showstopper from Jin here. He just completely blows up Kenny. Kenny doesn't even get to play the game.
Kenny didn't have ult.
He did not.
That was the biggest thing there. Yone needs ultimate right there with that play. Otherwise, being in to the face breaker from set is very risky. Because then when you snap back, Jin is already ready to follow up.
Yeah, Kent State, they just need to wait for these key cooldowns. Like, remember in that first gank in the top lane, Rex went for the Evelyn gank top lane without the last caress.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big thing here is that Kent State needs to wait for these cooldowns. Condorix is going in to die?
Yeah, like he went in solo and just kind of dropped.
And look at this, the flank coming in from Rex here on the Evelyn. His ult just coming. Oh, here comes the ultimate from Kenny here, getting massive amounts of damage. Charm coming in from Rex, not able to find any target here. Senna's going to secure, I take that back. Yone's going to secure the kill. Looks like Bar Esports bit up more than they can chew.
Oh, this could have maybe been a Yone Penta. Oh. Watch Kenny here chasing down Deku.
Deku's going to flash away, but he's just going to flash onto Rex here. Oh, the return kill!
The EQ auto burst from Ziggs is pretty crazy, and I think I have a replay of the Kenny triple kill. This is it, guys. This is Kenny's moment now. He just gets a triple. That is going to accelerate his IE to where Yone can now carry the game as a champion. Not to mention, Senna is 0 deaths. Ornn is Ornn. You're going to get his items soon. Your scaling for Kent State is actually pretty unreal. So despite the fact that they're down in gold, if they can get this Drake, They go ahead and get the Drake. Yes, your top inhib is down, but that's not the end of the world, really. Both neutrals are down for a little bit. I think the triple kill on Yone is really, really important. And let's take a look here. He goes in with the two-man ult. That's what he needed to do when he went in and died first. And now look at Rekt on the flank on the Evelynn. Tags up Lucian. Lucian flashes forward into Senna, where Senna can kill him. And this Evelynn constantly being behind the members of Bar just adds the pressure of they had nowhere to go. Unfortunately, Evelynn does drop 2 Ziggs. Really nice play by Deku to burst the Evelynn on the way out. But the triple on the Yone, again, I'll say it one more time, very, very key. This is Kenny's moment to shine to get his team back in this series.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's just an overstep from Bar Esports. They just overstayed their welcome. They really weren't respecting the respawn timers of Kenny, of the other squad members that they took out. And so when they respawned, they came straight at Bar and just came running, guns blazing. You just saw 4 or 5 kills going over to Kent State here.
Yeah, it's really tough as a team to keep the correct pace at all times, right? Like, look how high pressure they're playing right now. This is very fast, very aggressive. They don't care about towers, enemy champs. This is great. But to what degree you turn that speed down and when and who you send where is pretty tricky, and just great punish from Kent State to realize Bar was a bit too far up in the top lane. Perhaps they should have just inhib and recalled, but we've all been there where it just looks too easy and you want to get more.
That's right. But now there are only inhib towers left on the map for Bar Esports to take. So even though Kent State is up 1 kill to Bar Esports, there's still a 5,000 kill gap.
Well, look at the turrets. 7 turrets, 0. That's the exact point you're making. It's only down to inhib turrets. But when you're thinking of the gold lead and where it comes from, when you see the 7 to 8, and you're wondering how can they be up 6K, it's mostly turrets, plates, and things like that. So,
Yeah, precisely.
I guess to summarize your point. And now it's just, the name of the game is Baron for 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and then it's going to be a split map, both objectives up. And Yone completes his IE, right? So that is very, very important. Senna on 2 items. She likes to have 6 items, so I'm not sure how key that is. But what's most important is the Yone IE, and the Evelynn is going death cap again. So if she can get that death cap, and then those two can make a play together, then Orange just needs to do Orange things, Senna do Senna things, and I realistically see a world where they can win a 5v5 fight. It's just about the execution from Rekt and Kenny here, and will they be outplayed by Bar?
And so here we are looking for them to set up the Baron here. They're just setting up the vision around, denying Kent State a chance to walk into this pit.
Here comes the face check. They're walking into a pink.
Looking like there's a fight going down in the mid lane. Culling coming through. Absolute zero pop as well. But Camlet on the backside getting picked out by Kenny here. And Evelynn looking for a flank kill. Well, Deku is going to go down. Starpowner finds a kill with a piercing darkness. And Rekt is running for his life as well. He's just too far back behind enemy lines. Mike Oxmal is going to kill his role counterpart.
Yeah, that's the ideal situation for this Kent State comp. You want Evelynn behind their team, which is easy for her to do because she's invis on the map. There is no Rek'Sai to spot her out and prevent that. You want Yone coming in from the side, closing a lot of distance with his ER, disrupting. And then you want Senna, Tom, and Ornn slowly moving forward with the pressure that they have with the double angle flank. And I think if they can recreate that situation, they will find success. But we see a Baron start here from Bar.
And I think one of the viewers were asking the Senna soul check there. She currently has 41 souls. And look at this. Baron is going to be going towards 1,500 damage smite. And again flashes forward with the ultimate as well. With the Tom Kench Haymaker comes down. Okay. Yeah, this is just a gold lead gap.
Total wipe. You saw that gap was closed by multiple members, and it should have, like, your jungle's dead, so why approach Baron there, right? Should you maybe just give Baron, or are you looking to maybe win a 4v5? Either way, great job by Bar going ahead and taking that Baron. They're looking to break base now officially, and they could go double inhib reset Drake here. That's
right. And looking like that Drake is going to be up in 15 seconds. This time, I don't think they're overstaying the welcome. This time, I think Bar Esports has the tools, they have the power to go back.
Watch Evelynn on the minimap here. Is she going to go straight Drake? I would probably tell my team stop backs and don't die, and then I would rush Drake. So we'll see. We'll see how Bar maneuvers in that from here to the Drake spawn.
And look at this, wrecked on the Evelyn is already going straight
It's
to
a race.
the dragon.
It's a race, kind of. Evelyn will get there first, followed by Nunu, followed by this two-man unit, Tom Kench and Yone, and
wrecked. It's a tank versus an assassin. Last time I checked, tanks always win versus assassins. Oh, but Yone got a massive amount of damage on the Deku. Deku looking for the snake onto Wrecked, but not quite able to find the kill.
Kenny needs his E.
Oh, and he flashes forward onto Deku.
Kenny.
Deku's going down. Unstoppable Kenny here. Kenny's just carrying the team on his back. Jin with the showstopper, massive damage into the backline. Braum ultimate coming through as well. And the Dragon's so low, 500 HP, but nobody wants to smite it. Lucian's gonna get the kill here, but Kenny's on the backline. He's going for the 1v1 with Hamlet. He's gonna go back. He finds two people that he doesn't want to see. And Condorix here, he has no team. He's just by himself.
They slowly take out Condorix there. I think the Jin tackle was massive there. He took one of the members, I think it was Orin, dumped him on the enemy team and was just huge there. Not to mention soaks all the damage if we have a replay here as they're advancing towards base, so we might have to cut this soon. Look at that tackle into 5 members, and look at that true damage, the shield. He kills the Senna, the most important member. Let's see what Rek can do on the flank here.
I don't know what he can do, but
I think they can
there are some low health targets. He could definitely
up.
find a last crest to get some of those executes, but he doesn't have his ult up again.
And his teammates, he's waiting on Kenny 5, Condorix 4. It's a base defense of a lifetime here.
The biggest thing that Kent State has really fallen victim to this game is they're not playing around their key cooldowns. They're not playing around those key ultimates. We saw it earlier on at around 8 minutes when Evelyn went top in the game. She didn't have ultimate to finish off set. Then we saw later on in around 20-ish minutes when they were doing the top lane siege, Kenny dove in deep and he didn't have ultimate as well. So Kent State really needs to wait for these key cooldowns before they look for these plays, for these fights.
Yeah, and Keck, that sounds simple, but it really has to be a team effort. Kenny needs, in my opinion, needs E, Flash, and R for them to win a fight. That is insanely important. Not to mention, your Evelyn needs R. Your Senna could use a Flash. Tom Kench could use his Flash. Like, maybe is a good term saving up cooldowns, like attacking, striking all at once, because when you draft champions like Yone and Evelyn, you need their abilities to land, similar to the Nico and her abilities. It just doesn't seem like the members that aren't Kenny understand how important he is and his abilities are to the success of this team, John.
Right. And now we're just looking at Barty Sports to try and close out the game. We see Nunu has actually already bought the Elixir of Iron. He's not going to pop it yet, though, because he doesn't need to. He's probably not going to pop it until the fight breaks out to get the maximum time. And now they are sieging the bot lane in Hip Tower. It's the last tower on the map for them to take, aside from the Nexus towers.
Ziggs is a really great champion here. He throws out AoE poke and can execute that turret, kind of corralling them into a corner where he's just going to make it rain. And the bar members are very comfortable here as they look to take out this third inhib. And they got nothing but time. Nothing but time here.
And look at this, the fight is going to have to break out here. Absolute Zero coming in from Nunu. The Coley from Hamlet does so much damage, but Kenny's ultimate! He gets so many people here. The Orno 3 coming through as well, but Kenny's going to have to go down. Hamlet is unstoppable here. And the Showstopper from Set going in deep for the rest of the team here. And look at this, Senna and Evelyn, they're just running for their lives. There's no damage. They haven't been able to scale to that late game fight. And now Bar Esports just uses their stat check. They just run them down. And looks like game 2 is going to go over to Bar Esports. They are up 2-0.
They are up 2-0, Peck. And what do you know? It's possibly a reverse sweep situation. That's at least what I'm going to talk about here, because Kent State needs to think about how they're going to get back in this series, right? And I think where they went wrong, they need to really watch maybe some footage of pro teams in their team fighting. And what's so key to me is